Welcome to this amazing session of KnowTalks hosted by the UNDP and MBRF as part of a chain of speeches and talks that emphasizes the talks about knowledge. We are honored to receive and to talk to one of the leaders in knowledge in the world of the Arabs and one of the people who are doing great efforts to maintain the Arabic heritage and the Arabic uh, civilization. It is His Excellency Jamal Bin Huwaireb, the CEO of KnowTalks of MBRF. He is an unique voice in knowledge, and he's known for his program Rawi, which shed the light on so many forgetting people and characters during the history. And he shed the light on so many lives of the Arab thinkers and scholars, and he tried to build bridges between um, the past, today, and tomorrow. Being here, it is a chance that he is talking to us about the lasting imprint of the Arabic scientists, the Arab scientists, a lasting legacy in global civilization. We will start with His Excellency Jamal bin Huwaireb in the journey in eras, and we will explore how the Arab scholars tried to build and they participated in all fields of science, mathematics, physics, uh, and health, and all other fields, and to show us how these Arab minds they created and formed and laid the ground for the new modern science. And before I uh, leave the space to His Excellency, I will remind you that you can submit your questions in the Q&A, and we will try to answer them at the end. We will leave now the mic to Rawi, His Excellency Jamal bin Huwaireb, to start with his session. Welcome again, and good afternoon. And I am honored today to talk to you about the history, a great history for this nation. Some of us knows it, and some of us might be ignorant about it. The reason in prosperity and the downfall is knowledge. So when the Arabs and the Muslims cared for knowledge, they were prosperous. And when they left knowledge, the fall down started gradually until there's nothing remained but the small bits and pieces. Today, the name of Galileo, Newton, Darwin, in many, and Einstein in classrooms, and the people who came before them and after them, like Da Vinci, the artist. But we do not see Arab scientists' names being mentioned and Muslim scientists' names being mentioned in the world. And the reason is that we are not giving knowledge the care that we used to give it before. These people like Galileo, Darwin, Einstein, and Newton, others, and other inventors, they are only few centuries maximum ago. But the Arab scientists, they gave knowledge for almost 8 centuries. And language, the only language of science was the Arabic language. So Arabic language was the language of knowledge, science for almost 8 centuries. Not the English, not the French, not the German, not the Latin. The international language for science was Arabic language for 8 centuries. Most people, especially the Arabs, don't know this information. The scientists, when I say scientists or scholars, the Arabs and the Muslims, I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about the speech, about the tongue. Because all of the Muslim scientists and scholars' works were being written in Arabic language because it's the language of science. And we will start with some facts and fun facts and interesting facts about some scientists and scholars that left a legacy that we cannot uh, forget it internationally and globally. We want to shed the light on them and we want to know more about them and to look at some of their participations. Are you ready to be amazed and surprised? If I wanted to talk about this subject, maybe it will take me a month and I won't finish talking about it because it's an ocean of knowledge that has been given and available in scriptures, but the Arabs don't care for it, and manuscripts and all of that. There are inventions that were ahead of its time, such as some facts about some things that you might not know. There is a fraction, the law called a fraction, which is the law of Snell, the fraction of light, fracture of light during the 17th century. But the reality of this, and some people say it's Descartes. Now it's called Senen-Descartes law, but in fact, and in reality, this law was invented by Ibn Sahl from Baghdad. Because Ibn Sahl, before of them, centuries before them, explained the relation between the angle of the light and its friction angle. And he created an equation of the refraction. It means that he came before the Dutch physician by 600 years. Did they take that equation from Ibn Sahl because his works were translated into Latin, or did they come up with it without knowing? But why is it not being named Ibn Sahl law? Why is it titled as Senin Descartes law? We ask the question to the Arabs before the Europeans. Europeans, they have nothing to do with our scientists. We are the ones who has to look for the efforts of our scholars and scientists. This is an interesting fact. And if I tell you that all the Arabs and Muslims don't know that refraction law discovered is discovered by Ibn Sahl al-Baghdadi from Baghdad, And before I move, I want to show you a video that was put together about 7 to 10 years ago. It talks about the inventions of Arabs. It's just a minute or two. I want you to get the introductions to it. So I want you to see it and enjoy it.
أهلا بكم في العصور المظلمة أو كما يجب أن تعرف العصور الذهبية.
من تكون؟
أنا الجزري، مهندس ومخترع بارع.
ظننتك قلت إنها العصور المظلمة، لكنها لا تبدو مظلمة.
لأن ذلك يعتمد على المنظور الذي تأخذه يا صديقي. طبعا هناك أجزاء من العالم لم تكن مظلمة أبدا، ففي حضارة امتدت من إسبانيا إلى الصين ضياء العلم والاكتشاف أشرق على كل شيء.
أية حضارة؟
الحضارة الإسلامية يا صديقي، فيها طور علماء من ديانات مختلفة بعض أهم الاكتشافات التي عرفها الإنسان حينها. اكتشافات مبنية على علم من سبقهم، لكنها مرتبطة بعالمك الحديث أكثر مما تتخيل.
مثل ماذا؟
كل ما تتصور.
لابد أن أصور هذا.
كنت أعلم أنها فكرة جيدة.
من تكون؟
اسمحوا لي أن أعرفكم بابن الهيثم، عالم فذ أدت أفكاره إلى اختراع الكاميرا.
أنت اخترعت الكاميرا؟
أنا من وضع أسس الكاميرات الحديثة بتفسيري لكيفية عمل أعيننا. لقد وجدت طريقة لإسقاط صورة على سطح آخر من خلال ثقب في غرفة مظلمة، سميت بعدها القمرة المظلمة.
فكروا في كل الأشياء التي تطورت من هذا الاكتشاف. الكاميرات، السينما، كلها تعمل بنفس المبدأ.
رائع. أنتم في الأسفل، انتبهوا. من هذا؟
إنه صديقي الصدوق عباس بن فرناس، شغف بالسماء وآمن بأن الإنسان يمكنه الطيران. فعلا جرؤ أن يحلم بالطيران 1000 عام قبل الأخوين رايت. فعندما تسافرون بالطائرات في عطلاتكم عليكم أن تتذكروا عباس نفرناس.
استعدوا، أنا جاهز للإقلاع.
لقد نسي شيئا مهما، الذيل مفيد عند الهبوط.
هل طلبني أحد؟
صديقي العزيز، هل قدمت نفسك لضيوفنا الشبان؟ اسمي أبو القاسم الزهراوي، العديد يلقبونني بأبي الجراح.
أفعلا أجريتم عمليات جراحية وقتها؟
أكيد بالطبع. في الواقع العديد من الأدوات الجراحية التي اخترعتها ما زالت تستخدم في مستشفياتكم. بعد إذنكم، هناك مريض بحاجة إليه. المشرط. في هذه الحالة سأستخدم أحشاء الحيوانات.
أحشاء حيوانات؟
خيوط من أحشاء الحيوانات مثالية في خياطة الجروح الداخلية. ما زال جراحكم يستخدمونها إلى الآن. عذرا، يجب أن أذهب.
That's enough. The video is giving us a an introduction. It's the video is longer than this, but and it talks about some of the inventions of the Arabs and the Muslims. But we go back to Al-Bayruni. He invented, or we said he measured the radius of Earth, and his result was 3,920 miles. It's and the actual was 3,948, and this accuracy was not achieved until after centuries after that. And after he measured the radius this accurately, he resulted into that there is a necessity for another continent. And he said if Europe and Asia are combining the third or making a third of Earth, that there should be a continent that we don't know about that is there. And this is he's talking about forecasting about the existence of America centuries before uh, Christopher Columbus went there. These information are not being taught in our schools or in our universities. This person has measured the radius of Earth using simple tools and very specifically and very accurately. And there are tools that are programmable. These tools or these machines, we all think that it all started with the computational revolution in the 20th century. But we look at Musa bin Shakir in the 9th century. They have invented the first programmable machine in history, and they have and he they have talked about their book Geometry, the book called Geometry, Al-Hiyal. It was a musical tool, and it is self working, and it's working, and it can be programmed to do different pieces of music. It plays different pieces of music. You can program it using Steam. It works by controlling some valves and openings to change these tones. And we can say that this is the first programmable tool in history, and that was 1,100 years ago. A programmed and reprogrammable mechanical machine. It's like the dawn of robotics. Also, another thing, talking about Al-Kindi, you all heard about deciphering and wars forces countries to try to decipher their encryptions. Al-Kindi in the 9th century, he created the uh, the science of encryption and decryption, and he was the first one to create a pattern analysis and how to discover and decipher encrypted messages. That was hundreds of years before witnessing these wars during the 20th century, and it's very particular science. And whoever is focused on this kind of science, he will notice the specificity and accuracy done by Al-Kindi in this science, it and this invention is considered as the first known uh, use of statistics in analyzing data. This science is used in all of intelligences around the world to decipher secret messages and encrypted messages. It's very amazing since the 9th century, and now we are in 21st century. He created this science and he called it blinding, the science of blinding others. But in visions and the optics, in the field of optics, there's Ibn al-Haytham and other scientists that have changed the world's perspective and the landscape in regards to optics. First, he corrected the Greek theories in optics, and he understood that light going inside the eye instead of going outside of it. And also, he was ahead of the resonance area 5 centuries before them in trying to teach about the practical implementation of science. And you all heard about the black room, and the character is being reflected in this room. And then after that, Ibn al-Haytham also published his book Al-Manadhir, and that was translated to Latin, and the scientists of the West took from it. There's also another scientist, and this scientist is called Al-Idrisi. Uh, Roger II asked him to draw a map in 1154 AD, and before that there was so many paintings and drawings of Earth, but that was full of misinformation and incorrect information. Al-Idrisi was the first one to lay the grounds for the correct mapping of the world. In 1154, he drew the first plan and the first map of the Earth, and it shows Europe, Asia, and Africa in great details before the explorations that went everywhere. And we know that they have draw the places, but he did that before he went and explored. That was because of the knowledge, the Islamic knowledge, and Al-Idrisi is the teacher and the father of modern maps. They all counted on him. Also, there is another subject that we also can talk about. You know Avicenna. He published the book Al-Qanun, is in medicine. This book was taught in Europe until the 17th century. And so many of the of science of the medicine, it was taken from Avicenna. And also I will also has a role in combating pandemics such as the corona. I will show you also a Russian video uh, talking about Avicenna and his role in combating pandemics. There is a also another very famous physician called Al-Razi, and during the 9th century, it was requested from him to uh, choose a proper place for a hospital. They wanted to build a hospital, and they wanted him to choose a place. What did he do? He cut the meat and he put it in different places. And after some days, he checked those pieces of meat. So the last one to go bad, he said this is the proper place because it is the purest of air uh, between other places that we have chosen in the city. This experiment is, of course, is funny, but it shows the intelligence and the also Arazi was the first one who created the tablets and the sweetness. He mixed the sweetness with sweeteners with medicine also for people to accept medicine. Also, Abbas ibn Firnas. Everybody thinks that Abbas ibn Firnas was a crazy person and he tried to fly and he died during that. But for actuality, we did not give him his due. He's now given some poetry talking about some poetry about Abbas bin Firnas in praising that person, explaining that he is going high in the sky. But we are teaching our children that he fell and died. No, he flew and he was 65 years old. And many times he succeeded in flying. And one time was his landing was incorrect, and but and he got injured, but he went back again and did it. I will talk about him a little bit. I will uh, read to you some of his descriptions. Al-Abbas is a man, but he's as intelligent as a jinn. They used to describe him as a man with intelligence of a jinn. And he's the first one to create a sky dome in his house. You go inside and you will see you go inside your home and you will see the stars and the galaxies and all that. And he is the first one who created glass from sand, and he used to give some gifts to the Khalifa, some of his inventions such as al-miqata, which is a type of a clock. He covered himself in feathers, and he flew for a long distance. And also, he invented things in the Arabic language in Al-Arawud science. But unfortunately, this scientist, this amazing pioneer, is not famous as the Wright brothers. He I'm not saying that he is the one who created the airplanes, but will say that he is the first person to do a successful flying, and he died at the 85 years of age. Also, there's another scientist talking this about Abbas bin Firnas and his way of studying the birds and how to calculate the speed of the wind. And also he created a wing, and he went into a higher place, high rise, and against expectations he won. But the problem is during the landing, and he missed the importance of the tails, and he didn't die because of that drop. He recovered after a couple of months, and he lived 12 years after that. This is a video that explains how Al Abbas flew. It is the first time to fly, a person that flies in the world, and that was almost 1,000 years or more than 1,000 years ago. And there's a person here from here, UAE. We all know him, but we don't know who he is. He has a book called Al Fawaid. You will see its picture after a while. He is the one to change the navigation around the world. So this book is called Al Fawaid, and this book, he says that he created um, the magnetic needle. He is the one who created the magnetic needle. We're not talking about that the compass. The compass was created before, but Ibn Majid is the one who created this magnetic needle. I haven't seen it in curriculums. I haven't seen it in museums around the world, in the Arab world, but I saw it in a university in Frankfurt. This magnetic needle, he changed it into a navigation device, and it can be used on ships. And he create added an invention that he divided in circles the directions from 16 to 32 directions, and that duplicated the accuracy of the navigation path. And he was the one who documented the also the difference between the magnetic north and the actual north. He is a navigator, he is a poet, he is an inventor. He's from Ras Al Khaimah from the UAE. And this guy did a great work in this invention that changed the landscape of navigation by creating the magnetic needle. There's also the an amazing hospital, the Al Mansouri Hospital, or this is the picture. This hospital, I haven't looked at it. The first time I saw it, it was when a Nobel Prize Museum was hosted here in UAE, and the president of the Nobel Prize, the member of Nobel Prize, he talked to me about this hospital, and he explained to me this is an interesting hospital. First, because the nurse's outfit, the dress, was white, and started here in Al Mansouri Hospital or Qalun Hospital. Also, there are pavilions, the pavilion for mental issues, for other issues. So it's the first time it's divided into pavilions. Also, they have a medical committee that meets periodically to study all of the cases in the hospital. Also, money was spent and food and clothing for free to the patients, because treatment in this hospital was on the government's of Galawon, and hundreds of years ago, since hundreds of years ago, this hospital became a model for modern hospitals after that. And I'm sure that so many of you uh, have never heard of this hospital and how it was the first of its kind. And it's not just a hospital for treatment, it was also a mosque and a university to teach medicine. Unfortunately, these things, we don't see them, not because we don't want them, but because it's not given to us in our curriculums to shed the lights on that and to encourage the Arab youth to follow the steps of their ancestors hundreds of years ago. We mentioned Ibn Kindi, Ibn Abbas bin Farnas, Ahmed bin Majid, and other scholars and scientists. But as I told you, we need more than 1 month to talk about them. This is the first robot. This is the Ibn al-Jazari clock. And al-Jazari, in his book Al-Hiyal, everything you see such as the bird, the dragon, and the everything you see moves, and it's considered as a robot for a clock. It makes a person think how Ibn al-Jazari, 300 years before Da Vinci, and 400 years or 500 years before the Industrial Revolution, how was he able to move these parts in an amazing way? These inventions were documented in his book. He is the icon of the world. Of course, Da Vinci came after them, became more famous, but the person who made the first robot and 57 moving parts in it should be the called the icon of invention. But Da Vinci saw Europe, and Europe was in its darkest ages, and they have celebrated him. But we should celebrate Al-Jazari and other scientists. This is a glimpse about our scientists and scholars. But is there, after the downfall of Andalusia and the end of the Golden Age for 8 centuries, is there anything from the modern age? Yes, of course. There are scientists who are famous and they were able to prove themselves. Not they're not as many, but they are unique. And we hope, with the invitation of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President, the Prime Minister, and the ruler of Dubai, to continue with the civilization. We hope that the Arabs and the Muslims to come back, to pick up from where we have left, to be the leaders again. So many nations started their civilizations just 50 or 100 years ago. Us, we have a rich history. We can pick up from there and we can continue. And with the availability of this knowledge and the universities, we can, we need to be patient and to be devoted. I will give you examples. Ali Mustafa Musharraf is one of the scientists, and I have talked about him in 2 episodes. He died in the 50s, and he's called the Einstein of the Arabs. He is a physician. He's a great mathematician, and Einstein himself talked about him and mourned him. He has so many researches, and when we talk about algorithms, we and algebra, we shouldn't say al-Khwarizmi. We don't want to talk about the zero, because all of that is from al-Khwarizmi. But there are some names that they have great roles, such as Dr. Samira Musa, also is a atom scientist, a nuclear physicist. And Dr. Samira died in young age, and she received a PhD. She had a PhD in uh, nuclear radiation, and she was aiming to use the nuclear radiation, in medicine and treatment, which happened after her death. Also, Dr. Farouk Al-Baz, he's still alive. He's an Egyptian geologian, and he participated in Apollo program with NASA, and he told me himself that he participated in choosing the places of landing places on the moon. Also, Dr. Mustafa Sayyid, still alive. He's also a chemist. Egyptian American, and he is a specialist and a scientist in nanotechnology. He received an award in appreciation for his research in nanotechnology to fight cancer. So he's using nanotechnology to fight cancer. So he took the nanotechnology to the field of medicine, and he is one of the most prominent scientists in the chemistry. Also, Dr. Huda Zoghbi, she discovered the genetics about the ray, and she is also in the USA. These are some few examples. There are so many scientists around the world, not only in the Arab world, from the Arabs and the Muslims, who has great role in enriching sciences, and one of the ones who received the Nobel Prize, Peter Mdawar, Lebanese British, and he received it in 1960 in in collaboration with another person, and he's the first person from Arab descent as an Arab to win Nobel Prize for and he's the only one who won the Nobel Prize in medicine until today. But hopefully, some one of you will receive it. Elias James Khoury, he's a chemist, American from Lebanon, also received Nobel Prize in 1990 for his research in the biological creation. Also, the Dr. Ahmed Zuwail, and he's also one of the great scientists. He created a theory. He put a theory, and he created the measurement tool for that theory. And he invented the femtosecond. He was able to measure the femtosecond, and he received the Nobel Prize for that. And there is his device is in Zuwail University. If you are in Egypt, you can go and you can look at the tool and the machine. Also, Professor Munji Saleh Poundi, American Tunisian. Also, he won the Nobel Prize in chemistry. All of that, the previous scientists and the ones in the modern era, they have enriched knowledge and science. But if we compare, the winners of Nobel Prize are not from the Arabs or Muslims. It's small amount. If Nobel Prize was at that time before, I would say that most, if not all, of the prizes would go to the Arab Muslim scientists. Ibn Nafis, who invented or discovered the blood circulation, and there are so many reasons for the downfall of the Arab knowledge and the scientists. Also, Thabit bin Qurra is the first one who invented the friendly numbers. He was ahead of his time, and also he measured the year in particular. So many things. Please, look him up. Thabit bin Turra. He's a great scientist, and he might be one of the most intelligent people in the world. I have some advices before I finish. The first advice, my recommendation to you, is to care for research. Research is the one that increase you. Reading, everybody should read. But the people who loves knowledge, they should care for research. And also to look for places that cares for research, such as research centers, whether it's in your country or outside. If you are connected to researchers, you will be increasing your level. You will find new ideas. You will be able to add to the knowledge and to science. The mental freeze opposite is the opening, and mental opposite and knowledge opening. We have to be open to the world. Most mothers and fathers care for their children. We should push our children for science, physics, chemistry, not for the jobs. I don't want them. We shouldn't encourage them to be employees. We should encourage them to be scientists, scholars in all of these fields, and also to uh, grow in them the curiosity for innovation and exploration and discovering. We don't want to recycle ourselves and our lives. I hope that whoever is listening to me, not to be lazy, to care for knowledge, and look at the previous scientists and scholars who discovered so many things, such as the refraction, the law of refraction, and the medical tools, and the practical science, and experimental methodologies, and in irrigations, in motion, and they achieved automation 1,000 years before it's received in the Industrial Revolution. We should be inventing, we should be competing with the world. We don't want to be dependent on the world. We should be the ones winning the awards. Why should we accept to be the least in the holders of Nobel Prize? In a way, while we are the ones who created the golden era and they laid the ground for all of the knowledge and all of the sciences, we recommend you to continue and to care for knowledge. And that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Jamal, for this deep, inspirational speech and for these recommendations and this session that you have taken us through in the area and the age of the golden era, and you have introduced some names that were able to put the basis of the current and modern science. There is so many participations from people. We have more than 500 up to 600 people uh, attending only on Zoom, and knowing that we are also live on social media. I don't see the numbers there. Also, we have so many questions. Also, there's a request to do a second part uh, to to get the introductions about the Arab scientists. It will take us more than a month, and it's not enough because it's an ocean of knowledge. What the Arab and Muslim scientists uh, have given during the 800 years, they have created an ocean of knowledge, and we cannot sum it in a session or two. Uh, not not even 100 speakers with me. We cannot give them their due respect. There is so much more. There are so many uh, works in knowledge that has been done by the uh, Muslim scholars, and the contributions are understood only by the universities. Our universities do not explain, do not give speeches, and don't talk about the knowledge of 8 centuries of scientific contributions from those great scientists. But we can try. Yes, I hope I will promise. I promise our attendees that we will see the possibility of doing a second session with Mr. Jamal, even though we know his tight schedule. We have received many questions, and I know that I think that it is already late, and we apologize for the delay at the beginning. But if you have sometimes, at least we can answer some of these questions, or at least like two of a couple of them. I I prefer to answer some of the questions, but the remaining ones we can answer them through Zoom because I have to go. So I will not be able to answer all the questions, but please. The first question is, you are from the few people who focused on telling the Arab story from a scientific and civilized way, not from a poetic way. Why the poetry is the one who is more common than the scientific story, and how can we rebalance? The scientific narrative um, is not looked for or looked after. But the poetry, a poetic narrative, is has its customers. So if someone is caring for science, he will not find people who care for science, not because the market is small, but the market is moving towards poetry and the poetic narrative, if that's what you mean by the question. But that doesn't mean that we should care for the scientific narrative and the scientific story, because uh, it raises the level of intellect. It's not only specific in the Arab world. The non-fictional and fictional stories are more common than non-fictional. Uh, the scientific books are like sold by the hundreds or thousands, but the poets and other fictional stories are being sold by millions. Um, but there, the number of scientists are more than our world right now, and that's why the scientific stories market is weak. But that doesn't mean that we should stop it. We have to continue with it, and we hope and we pray to Allah that the Arab nation comes back to it, its history, and to be the one to continue with the science. And also, the second and last question: is there a Arab character who you see that they did not take their credit in the modern era? And who would that be person? Ahmed Zuwail. Dr. Ahmed Zuwail is this man is one of the most important scientists in the world nowadays. And this man in my program, I sometimes give Kings 2 or 3 episodes. For other people, 1 episode. But for Ahmed Zuwail, I have given him three uh, episodes because he is one of the kings of science. Because this man, may Allah have mercy on his soul, he was an icon in modern science. And when we did Nobel Museum in chemistry, we did it in the commemoration of Dr. Ahmed Zuwail, and the people from Nobel were happy that we did it because of that, and they know that this is a great man, and I call him the Da Vinci of the modern era. And if am able to talk more about him, I would have given him 30 episodes, not 3 episodes, because he is one of the greatest scientists in the world, Dr. Ahmed Zuwail, and Sheikh Mohammed, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, mourned him after when he died in his social media account, and now uh, there is a university in Cairo under his name, and I don't see any person like him in our lifetime. Yes, I have seen these 3 episodes, and they are inspiring. Unfortunately, we really don't know about these enough about these Arab scientists who we are proud of, and this scientific heritage is not just to be proud of. We have to catch the torch, hold the torch, and to continue. We have minds, and we have the abilities and capacities, but we need the encouragement. UAE is an encouraging environment for science and supporting for science our government, and this establishment is the partner of UNDP, the MPRF. Uh, I and all of my colleagues are in, we serve the researchers. We hope to see more researchers from the Arab world, and we hope that they should search at the highest level. They shouldn't stop, and they shouldn't say that we cannot. Yeah, you can. Who the person who were able to calculate the radius of Earth, Al-Biruni, with simple tools, is you can do with all of these tools, with the AI, you can reach the skies. Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency Jamal Bin Huwaireb, and all the attendees for their participation and their attendance. We hope that this session is a start for continuous work and to build for the future. We meet you again after Al Eid al Fitr, and peace and blessings be upon all of you.